Private Jenkins had been a curiosity from the moment he stepped off the transport ship. The only human in the 87th Galactic Coalition Training Battalion, he stood nearly a head taller than most of the other recruits and weighed twice as much as some of the slighter species. But it wasn't his size that unnerved the training staff. It was where he came from. Earth, Classification DW3, Deathworld, Category 3. Drill Sergeant Krav, a veteran of 3 interstellar campaigns, had seen his share of oddities across the cosmos, but humans remained a perplexing enigma. Their homeworld was a biological nightmare by galactic standards, crushing gravity, toxic atmospheric oxygen levels, extreme temperature variations, and predators that would give even seasoned warriors nightmares. Battalion, forward march. Krav bellowed through his translator module, his 4 arms gesturing in perfect military precision. The diverse collection of species moved in awkward unison across the training field, a tapestry of limbs, tentacles, and appendages attempting to synchronize, all except Jenkins, who moved with an unsettling grace for his size. Today was the dreaded live-fire exercise, actual plasma rounds, actual explosives, actual danger. It separated the warriors from the bureaucrats. This exercise simulates battlefield conditions. Assistant Instructor Plix explained, her translucent skin pulsing with bioluminescent patterns of authority. Real weapons, real consequences. The Coalition doesn't coddle its soldiers. The recruits shuffled nervously. Death was rare in these exercises, but injuries were common and expected. Several cadets had already requested administrative transfers after hearing about today's training. Jenkins just stood there, face unreadable. Deathworlder, Krav addressed him directly. Any insights for your fellow recruits? It was a test. Krav had learned that humans possessed an unusual trait called gallows humor, finding amusement in danger. He wanted to see if Jenkins would frighten the others. Just keep your head down, sir, Jenkins replied simply. The course was diabolical, an obstacle run through artificial terrain while automated turrets fired low-yield plasma bolts and timed explosives detonated at random intervals. The goal was to reach the far bunker with your team intact. First squad, on the line, Krav ordered. Jenkins and 5 other recruits took position. His squad mates included Trill, an amphibious Mercurian with quick reflexes, Dox, a methodical silicon-based Stentorian, Vex, a nimble 4-armed Proximan, and the twins Rem and Rom from the methane swamps of Titan, who communicated through synchronized neural patterns. Begin on my mark. 3, 2, 1, execute. They launched into the course. Immediately, the air filled with the hiss and crackle of plasma fire. An explosion rocked the ground 10 meters ahead, sending a plume of dirt skyward. The squad scattered for cover. Trill dove behind a synthetic boulder, her skin shifting to match its coloration. The twins synchronized their movements to dart between obstacles with mathematical precision. Dox calculated trajectories, calling out safe paths. Jenkins didn't dive. He didn't scramble. He ran, directly and purposefully, dodging plasma bolts with uncanny timing. Halfway through the course, disaster struck. An unexpected explosion knocked Vex off balance. The Proximan stumbled into an open firing lane, frozen in terror as a turret swiveled toward him. What happened next would become legend at the training battalion. Jenkins altered course instantly, crossing 15 meters in barely 2 seconds. He tackled Vex just as plasma fire sizzled through the air where the Proximan had stood. They tumbled behind a barricade as superheated particles melted the ground behind them. And then, in the midst of chaos, Jenkins laughed. It wasn't a nervous chuckle or release of tension. It was genuine amusement, deep, resonant, and thoroughly unsettling to everyone who heard it. In the observation tower, the color drained from Krav's face. His secondary arms instinctively reached for his sidearm. By the void. Assistant Instructor Plix whispered, "He's enjoying this." The other instructors exchanged horrified glances. They had all been briefed on Deathworlders, but theoretical knowledge paled against the reality before them. "Shut it down," Krav ordered, his voice unnaturally tight. "Shut everything down now." Warning klaxons sounded across the training ground. The turrets powered down, their targeting matrices going dark. The remaining explosive charges were remotely disarmed. Jenkins helped Vex to his feet, still grinning. That was close. You okay? The Proximan nodded shakily, all four eyes wide with a mixture of gratitude and fear. Later in his office, Krav reviewed the incident with his superior, Commander Zoll. The recording showed Jenkins moving at speeds that should have been impossible for his species' muscle density. And he laughed, Krav emphasized. Not from fear or relief, from enjoyment. Zoll stroked his sensory ridges thoughtfully. Earth's gravity is 1.4 times our standard. Their atmospheric pressure is higher. Their predators are faster. With respect, Commander, that doesn't explain what we saw today, doesn't it? Zoll pulled up the classified briefing on humans. Their evolutionary psychology developed in an environment where danger was constant. Their ancestors didn't just survive predators. They became predators themselves. Jenkins sat alone in the mess hall that evening. The other recruits kept their distance, whispering amongst themselves. Only Vex approached, setting his tray opposite the human. You saved my life today, the Proximan stated simply. Jenkins shrugged. Anyone would have done the same. No, Vex replied, they wouldn't have. And they certainly wouldn't have laughed. Jenkins considered this. Where I'm from, laughing at danger is how we cope, how we face it. It's difficult to explain. Try, Vex prompted. Humans evolved as pursuit predators, Jenkins explained. We're not the strongest or fastest, but we're relentless. When danger appears, something inside us wakes up. The closer we are to death, the more alive we feel. In the days that followed, training protocols were revised. Special accommodations were made for unique evolutionary responses. Drill Sergeant Krav personally supervised Jenkins' training, fascination gradually replacing his initial fear. The Galactic Coalition would need to understand humans better, particularly now that Earth had joined the interstellar community. Because if one laughing Deathworlder could cause such panic, what might happen when more arrived? One thing was certain, the universe was about to become a much more interesting place.